What I want to move to is my favourite story, I think, in showbiz this year. The Justin Baldoni war with Blake Lively, which seems to me, initially I felt quite sorry for Blake Lively, then I've been reading all the messages between them all, and which he's been putting out, obviously, and it just seems like a pair of absolute weapons-grade nasty.
I'm unaware of anybody, frankly, whose wife has been sexually harassed and has made jokes about that type of situation.
Just when you thought Hollywood's golden couple couldn't get any more polished, Piers Morgan has detonated a truth bomb that's rocking Tinseltown. In his latest exposé, Morgan reveals explosive text messages, insider testimonies, and damning behind-the-scenes details about how Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds really got together on the set of Green Lantern. You think you know Blake and Ryan? Think again. For years, they've meticulously curated a squeaky clean image. Charm, kids, couples banter, the whole brand. But this investigation pulls back the curtain on the calculated moves, the power plays, and the PR manipulation beneath the surface. From their alleged mistreatment of co-star Justin Baldoni to accusations of exploiting their own children for publicity, nothing is off limits in this bombshell report. If Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds truly are the perfect couple they appear to be, swapping playful Instagram jabs, lighting up red carpets with banter and charm, and delivering meme-worthy zingers that make us all wish we were part of their inner circle, then why do so many insiders describe a much darker reality? For over a decade, Blake and Ryan have meticulously constructed a brand, the effortlessly relatable A-list duo. They're just like us, only hotter, funnier, and always dressed like a Vogue spread. Their social media trolling of each other is now legendary, earning them millions of fans who see their marriage as a fairy tale with a punchline. But behind the Instagram sparkle and red carpet laughs lies a carefully orchestrated machine. According to sources close to the couple, everything from their tweets to their televised appearances is controlled with military-grade precision. Working for them was like living inside a PR simulation, said one former assistant. Nothing happens by accident. Multiple insiders confirm that many of their most beloved viral moments aren't spontaneous at all. In fact, some are brainstormed and written by professional comedy writers. Every post goes through a review process, shared one former employee who spoke under condition of anonymity due to a notoriously strict NDA. Some of those tweets take days of back and forth before they're cleared. And about those NDAs, they're practically legend in Hollywood. Household staff have reportedly signed contracts so suffocating, they make CIA clearance look casual. You can't even mention what cereal they eat without risking legal action, said another former employee. Their image as the perfect couple is enforced with absolute control. What fans see as lovable spontaneity may, in reality, be the most tightly managed performance in showbiz.
How did Blake and Ryan really meet, right? They met on Green Lantern. But during that phase of Green Lantern, which was, I guess, back in 2009, was when they were shooting this, or 2010, filming was March to August 2010, Ryan was married to Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett Johansson, people forget about this, including Gwyneth Paltrow when she interviewed her. We'll get to that in a second. But people forget, yeah, these two were married, right? And so during that period of 2010, 2011, he was with Scarlett Johansson, and Blake was in a long-term relationship with Gossip Girl, Penn Badgley, right, Kim?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now that we know from you, right? Yeah, they were together for a while, and it just kind of seems like that ended. But the big question is, was there essentially cheating? And it's kind of hard to be able to tell. So there's two different narratives, but specifically what Ryan and Blake's narrative is, they both were not in relationships. When they did get together, it was after the filming of Green Lantern, and everything was good. But I think what made everything more complicated was there was a rumor due to a tweet that was sent out by a reporter. So that's kind of the big...
According to a veteran publicist who has coordinated multiple high-profile events featuring Blake and Ryan, nothing about their public image is left to chance. There's a binder, the source revealed, an actual physical binder filled with pre-approved questions that reporters are allowed to ask. Step even slightly off script, and the interview is shut down immediately. This level of micromanagement, sources say, goes far beyond standard celebrity media training. Industry insiders who have worked directly with the couple describe a fixation on image that borders on obsessive. One cinematographer who collaborated with Ryan recalled him reviewing every single frame in which his face appeared. "In 20 years of filmmaking, I've never seen that level of scrutiny from any actor," he said. "It was relentless." The disparity between their polished public facade and their behind-the-scenes behavior has left even jaded Hollywood veterans shaken. "There's calculated," said one producer familiar with both stars, "and then there's whatever Blake and Ryan are doing. It's image management on a level I've never encountered." But the real bombshell? Piers Morgan now claims to have obtained text messages that could detonate the entire illusion. According to Morgan, the texts allegedly reveal Blake Lively directing not just her own media narrative, but orchestrating how outlets should portray her relationship with Ryan, down to the adjectives they're allowed to use. In one particularly chilling exchange, she reportedly threatened to revoke access from any publication that deviated from the script. If proven true, these revelations could spell the unraveling of a brand that has long been hailed as Hollywood's gold standard for coupledom. The most jaw-dropping revelation comes from an assistant director on Green Lantern, who claims to have walked in on Blake and Ryan in a compromising position, 3 full months before Ryan and Scarlett Johansson announced their separation. "It wasn't a friendly chat," the source told Morgan. "When I opened the door, they jumped apart like teenagers caught by their parents. There was no mistaking what was going on. Even the couple's go-to anecdote about their first official date doesn't hold up under scrutiny. For years, they've repeated the charming story of a platonic double date in early 2011, where they were each supposedly paired with other people. But a restaurant server from a high-end Manhattan hotspot has now come forward with damning evidence. A dated receipt from October 2010 showing Blake and Ryan dining alone, tucked into a private corner, long before the world knew he was separated.
Miss Lively has understood the produced documents, the text messages that were in her original complaint and are in this one. She has understood the produced documents and communications to have been lawfully obtained. That's how she understood it. They were lawfully obtained, maintained, and produced by Jones Work. So she's pointing it over to the Jones Work. If these weren't correct, it's Jones Work's fault, is what she's trying to say. Miss Lively included all excerpts of communication as produced, which on information and belief were produced in the data extractor program's Cellbrite default font and format, including, for example, the absence of text emojis in that production format. Images such as emojis, when available in a preserved screenshot, for example, were attached as produced. So the way I take this is, well, if those texts weren't real or they were edited, it wasn't our fault. They were Jones Work. But girl, they are your fault. That was the whole point of this, why they're suing you, why they've gotten so aggressive. What you're calling retaliation is them defending themselves against your out of context, picked and choose text messages that may have been unlawfully gotten. That's a huge point that she's sort of acknowledging without admitting. Well, if it's there, if it's wrong, it's not my fault, but I'm going to continue to use them. But I removed a couple that maybe, yes, were maybe not used in full context. So I found that incredibly telling. Hidden in a little footnote, her protection that, well, you know, they were. I was told they were lawfully obtained. Yikes. Big yikes.
Behind their much publicized "no photos of our kids" policy lies one of the most calculated PR strategies Hollywood has ever seen. While Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds publicly position themselves as fiercely private parents, Piers Morgan's investigation paints a very different picture, one where their children are quietly weaponized as precision tools in an ongoing campaign of public image control. The pattern is impossible to ignore. Take 2022, when Blake's Betty Buzz drink line came under fire for its exorbitant pricing. Within 48 hours, she appeared on Live with Kelly and Ryan sharing a perfectly adorable anecdote about her daughter James mistaking sparkling water for spicy water. The story exploded across social media, displacing any criticism with a flood of heart emojis and mommy blog praise. They've mastered something we call strategic parental deflection, explained media analyst Sophia Winters in Morgan's exposé. They never show their children's faces, citing privacy, but they constantly deploy child-related stories the second their brand is under threat. It's image manipulation in onesies and finger paint. In one especially revealing case from 2020, Ryan was hit with backlash for traveling to Italy to film Red Notice amid strict pandemic restrictions. Almost immediately, he posted a story about one of his daughters hilariously mispronouncing words. The lighthearted tale dominated headlines, pushing the pandemic criticism into oblivion. According to a former PR team member who spoke anonymously due to NDA restrictions, there's an actual document, pre-approved kids' stories sorted by category, cute misunderstanding, sassy comment, touching family moment. Nothing is left to chance. The manipulation became even more transparent during the 2021 aviation gin pricing scandal. As complaints mounted over misleading labels, Blake quickly posted a homemade birthday card from their daughter. The result? The controversy vanished, almost instantly under a wave of wholesome content reposts. Celebrity publicist Maria Donovan put it bluntly. They claim to protect their kids' privacy, but they're using them like crisis actors in onesies. Most fans don't realize they're being emotionally hijacked, they just see sweet parenting content. Morgan's team documented 7 clear incidents where unfavorable press coverage was immediately followed by a child-centric media play. In each case, searches for the original controversy dropped by an average of 74% within 24 hours. What looks like doting parenthood, the investigation suggests, may actually be a masterclass in tactical distraction. At the heart of Blake and Ryan's carefully curated image lies a fundamental contradiction, one that's gone largely unchallenged until now. While they loudly champion their refusal to share photos that reveal their children's faces, a boundary many celebrities uphold, they simultaneously and routinely exploit stories about those same children to manage public perception. What's especially calculated, explains social media analyst Jeremy Park, is how they've turned their no faces policy into a moral high ground. It paints them as noble, privacy-conscious parents, while still allowing them to use their children as emotional decoys whenever a PR crisis hits. A former nanny who worked briefly for the couple confirmed that this isn't incidental, it's strategic. They document cute or funny moments and literally say, "That's a good one to save for later," she revealed. It wasn't just parenting, it was stockpiling content. They were creating a highlight reel to deploy at the right time, Ed.